So my name is Wendy Sulzer. I am the Director of Home Care for J Homecare, LLC, doing business as BrightStar Care of Madison, Central Milwaukee, Racine, Janesville, Baraboo, and La Crosse. And today we're going to talk about long-term care insurance.
Can you just give me the quick answer of what long-term care insurance is?
Sure. So long-term care insurance is a special type of insurance that covers long-term care. Historically, it's been known as nursing home insurance, but more and more so today, people are using that insurance for assisted living or home care.
What is the difference between home health and home care?
That's a great question and one that we get very often. So home health is a Medicare covered service. And it's typically after hospitalization, a doctor writes an order for home health. It's covered by Medicare, but it's really just meant to get somebody back to their baseline. So it's a short-term type of service, typically covers physical therapy, occupational therapy, and then typically a bath shower aid about once a week. But let me go back and say this. So home care covers what you would consider long-term care services. Everything from hands-on assistance with daily tasks to help around the home with laundry, making meals, even transportation services. So getting out of the house to doctor's appointments and things like that.
So the question is, what are some specific things for policyholders to know?
So there's a couple of really important things you want to know about your long-term care insurance policy before you would begin to utilize that for home care services. First thing you want to know is, does your policy have an elimination period? Well over 50% of policies have some type of elimination period, and that's a period of usually 90 days that you're going to have to pay out of pocket before you would be eligible to receive reimbursements. It's also really important to know how your company measures that elimination period, if it's individual dates of service or if it's 90 calendar days. And knowing the difference there can really impact how much money you're going to have to pay. The other things that you would want to know is, what is your benefit period? Most policies are 3 to 5 years. Some are unlimited. Some are based not on a length of time, but just a certain dollar amount. So you can spend up to $100,000 or up to $500,000 before that policy expires. So that's important to know. The other thing that's really important to know is your cost structure. So some policies reimburse on an 80-20 structure, where the policy reimburses 80% and then the customer would pay 20%. Some use a reasonable and customary, which is what is the going rate, so to speak, in that geographical area. And then others will have just a daily limit. So they'll reimburse up to $300 a day. Or something like that.
How does a policy use a waiver of premiums?
Yeah, so if your policy has a waiver of premiums, that means that you can stop paying your monthly premium if you have an active claim. So that's a really nice benefit, that once you start using your long-term care insurance, you don't have to pay that monthly premium anymore.
What are some qualifications that a provider might require before insuring a customer?
Yeah, so often the policy will have some type of provider requirements, either that the home care provider is licensed or that the individual coming into the home to provide the care is licensed. So for us in the state of Wisconsin, Wisconsin does not license home care providers. So what we most often see is that they're looking for a certified nursing assistant certification of the actual care provider, and that we need to provide that to the long-term care insurance company in order for our customer to get reimbursed.
Why can it be smart to use long-term care insurance sooner rather than later?
This is a great question, and something that can really benefit you and your family if you understand how this works. So for one, starting home care sooner than later is a good idea. Because we know that quality home care services can prevent hospitalization and help you or your loved ones stay independent longer. But then specifically when it comes to long-term care insurance, you have to remember that elimination period, if you have one, that you're going to be paying out of pocket for 90 to 100 days, and it's going to be a much lesser out-of-pocket cost if you only need 1 or 2 hours of care each day, as opposed to waiting until you need 10, 12, or 24 hours of care per day. So starting sooner can certainly benefit you. We've had some clients who have started home care services when they just needed a couple hours a day, and then down the road, if they needed to move into assisted living, they were through their elimination period. Whereas if you waited until you moved into assisted living, you'd be paying that full assisted living rate for 90 to 100 days before your reimbursements would start. So sooner the better.
What is the process of choosing a care agency once I've got long-term insurance?
Yeah, so the process of choosing a care agency, when you identify that you need care, really is just to call the agencies and be prepared with the questions that you want to ask. We do have a home care buyer's guide that we can provide anyone that's interested in, learning what those specific questions would be. The biggest thing in terms of if you're going to be using long-term care insurance is asking that agency, do they have experience with helping with those submissions? Do they help with those submissions? Do they charge any extra to assist with those submissions? For us, we do have a lot of experience with it, and we don't charge extra for it.
Thank you, Audie, for your time.
Thanks.